Very hard to communicate from the bottom to the person that is diving back here. I guess we didn't think of that. Can you hear me better from down here or no?
No, Skylar. Okay.
Welcome back to another episode, guys. We're here in sunny Orlando today. You guys wonder how come I'm not traveling doing tank tours today? Well, I'm doing a tank tour on my own tank on the 4000. It's been an update that a lot of people have been wanting to see. We glued corals about 3 months ago that are doing phenomenal. Wait till you see the progress. Let's go inside so I can show you guys some more. Let's go. All right, so we made it to the 4,000-gallon tank. Just kidding, more like a 40-gallon tank. Anyways, we got Julian here. Julian is our mushroom expert here in the farm. But anyhow, what are you doing here today?
Yeah, so I'm just going through checking the rubble to see if any of these mushrooms we've added in have attached. And then I'm gonna start adding them to the rock. And then I brought some stuff from the farm over here to try and spruce up the display.
So I see a couple gunnies,
Yeah, so we got
a couple
some-
chalices, and mainly jaw breakers coming out of the ears right now.
Oh yeah, so we're really trying to just get as many mushrooms as we can to pack onto the rock, really fill it out.
And then I was asking earlier, how come some of the ones on the floor, they're kind of smaller? You were telling me there are some of the newer ones that you put after they go through the right medicine and all that?
Right, yeah, so we usually will try and first treat the mushrooms with Cipro to try and make sure, there's no infections or anything like that. Then we'll do a reef prime dip just to make sure there's no pests coming in when we bring them into the system. So after those two processes, they could be a little stressed out, so they may not be attached. So we'll lay them down on the rubble and then check in every few weeks and see if they've attached themselves.
Well, Julian, keep up the good work, buddy.
Thanks.
Thank you, bro. We'll be visiting you when we do the video next week with your tank. All right, so you guys been watching us talk and you guys watching us brainstorm here. You guys wonder what this looked like here. Basically, we quarantined these acros about 3 months ago. We knew every single acro what they were, but we got so busy with life here in Worldwide Corals, running the business, running around, traveling, doing videos that we lost track of everything. And now we're going back to keeping track of what we know, what we don't know. We're gonna get it back out and go back to the mother colonies in our display tanks, get new frags out and name them. But right now we lost track and we don't want to do that because of lineage. It's very important to us. So if you guys can see, this is the right side of the 4,000-gallon tank. We haven't glued any Acroporas yet. If you guys can see over there on the left side, we glued Acroporas maybe 2-3 months ago. They actually got phenomenal corals. I was just talking to Skylar. Josh here is working on the database. You guys can see on the laptop. So that indicates where the mother colony lives, the picture of the frag, the location of the frag, little history of the frag, where the coral lives, a bunch of stuff. So again, this has been a long process, guys. It's been a year and a half we've been working on this 4,000-gallon tank. It's been super challenging, to say the least. It's literally 95% finished. There's a few final touches they're doing right now. They're gonna start doing the doors this week. I mentioned this before. The old person who did the drywall made a big old mess. We have to take it down and we have to redo it all over. They just finished all the wiring with the hydros controllers. You guys seen it back there. We finished all the platform where we can walk on it so we can work on top of the tank. They made some adjustments with the flow. We're still working with that. We're gonna be ordering an ozone reactors for water clarity. All the fish are actually in. I wanna say all the tanks are in, maybe 1 or 2 more. I don't think there's gonna be many more. We gotta start working on some Anthias, some Wrassers, some Banggai Cardinals, some Green Chromis, some Glass Cardinals, I'm sure a bunch of other stuff, right? Some little fish, some firefish. But definitely the tank's been doing amazing. Knock on a little bit of wood that we have there. No fish got sick. The UV sterilizer's been doing their job. The protein skimmer's working phenomenal. It's a big project. I think we even underestimated a little bit. It's just the program and the glue and the preparation, the addition of fish. It's been quite challenging, but you know what? It's gonna be very rewarding. We're still 7 months away here when they're, actually it's October 1st today. We're still October, November, December. We're still about 7 months away from Reefapalooza, but rest assured that for Reefapalooza, we're gonna be confident. We're seeing the growth rate that we're having on the corals right now, so we're pretty confident that by the time Reefapalooza Orlando come next year, you're gonna be able to see the tank taking off like wildfire. So if you're planning to come to Reefapalooza Orlando next year, save time to come to Orlando. We're pretty close to the actual show.
Okay, so I wanted to add a nice update here for the X4 lights that we have above our 4,000 gallon tank. They don't get enough love. Pretty much they're on the back side of the wall, so you can't even see what lights are above this tank. But we have 48 Illumagic X4s. What's actually really cool here is, you know, when we initially went with more of a hobbyist grade light, which is very similar to what anybody at home can purchase for their residential aquarium, we worried, is it going to be strong enough? Is it going to get to the bottom of the tank? Is 50 of them overkill? Is 50 of them not enough? We've got coral in this tank now for probably about 5 months. Man, they're doing incredible. I mean, I couldn't be happier. There's some fine tuning that needs to be done, but going back to my original point, yeah, these lights are plenty enough. We're getting anywhere from 250 on average par down to 120 par in the bottom corners, and they're turned down. So the lighting profile that we're running on this is a custom profile. The white channel is relatively low. I think we're running at like 50 or 60% of its total capacity, and it's only for 3 hours. The remainder of the 12-hour photo period is all blue on the first 2 main channels. And 1, the color of the tank looks incredible. 2, the corals look as good as we could possibly expect them to. And 3, we're seeing good growth. You probably ask, why only 3 hours of photo period on the white schedule? Well, that's partially because we're dealing with a little bit of an algae problem. If we can dial in the flow a little bit better and actually get some of that detritus and decomposing organic matter to lift up out of the rocks and actually go down the overflow like it's supposed to, we wouldn't be dealing with the algae. And then we can turn these lights up some. So we've got, on both ends of the spectrum, we've got plenty of intensity to work with. We can turn it up in intensity because there's what they call beast mode on these lights. So you can actually overdrive the LEDs, which is really cool. And then we also have the length of white photo period that we can work with. The blues aren't even turned up 100%. So there's a lot more to go from these lights. And then there's another layer to it. This rack that's hanging up above this aquarium is fixed right now. This rack is going to be designed to lower down and actually raise back up. So we'll be able to get even more intensity out of the light without compromising the spread because we put enough devices above the tank. We have a lot of loose ends to tie up back here. Like I said, this light rack needs to be adjusted, and then we still need to bundle up all the wires. What I'll do is I'll share this lighting profile so that everybody can see what I'm talking about. But you can see here in the very beginning, there's only a 3-hour window where we have a white photo period. It's literally blue all day long. I have only 90% blue across the board. We actually go up to 100 here. But the cool part, like I said, about these lights is if I go back, you can see there is the beast mode option right here. And what that does is it allows us to overdrive all of the diodes. The cool part about this is the light itself is actually capable of handling more than the power supply can provide to the light. So you don't ever have to worry about doing any kind of damage. And once these run really hot, these silicone lenses are actually heat resistant, and I believe they're actually lifetime warranted now. So you can overdrive these and never have to worry about hurting the light. In other parts of the video, you'll see I've got a laptop in front of me and Skylar's in the tank and we're logging where the corals are going. What we're doing is we're trying to organize this tank, and it's not a direct science, but we're trying to organize this tank in a way that I know a certain coral in a given area could be one of multiples, but it's narrowed down to only 2 or 3 in a zone rather than 300 or 400 in this tank. So what we've done is we've come up with a grid system where this row of lights on the very end is row 1 and this row of lights right here is row 6. So then based on the forward and backward direction, we've got light 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And, you know, let's say directly beneath here, I've got 3 corals. One's pink, one's yellow, and one's green. Well, I can say row 6, light number 4, and then a description of the coral and its name. And that tells me that's the coordinates of that particular coral. And obviously, like I said, maybe there's others in that zone, but they're not the same color. So it's an easy identifier for that block of space. Ultimately, my goal, I don't know how well it'll work long term, but ultimately my goal is if I can map this out in a way that we can put its own landing page on our website, it'd be cool to shop by this tank, what a coral is, and maybe click it to buy it eventually. I think that's really neat. Another thing is, after running these now for a while, I think they're really neat. This is called a Flex Series random flow generator. You can see it's like real, I don't know, maybe you can see it or not. It's real squishy. It's rubberized. These random flow generators, if I shut these power heads off on the end, there's actually a lot of turbulence in the top of this tank, even though that doesn't look like a lot of flow. We struggled when we built this tank. I was looking for a 1-inch lock line, and I realized that not only do they carry 1-inch lock line at VCA, but they also have these cool random flow generators. I would put this on any aquarium that you have no intention on using a power head, because that actually works. The fact that the flow coming out of that is randomized to the point where it doesn't have any consistency to it, a 20-gallon tank or a 30-gallon tank or even a 10-gallon tank, as long as you've got enough return pump to drive this random flow generator, you can build the aquarium without having to see that ugly power head in the cord in the water. So kudos to him. I really like the Flex design because you can actually clean the coralline algae off of it just by squeezing it. Really neat concept. I don't think anybody on the market's doing that. So VCA.
It's kind of like a happy day and a sad day where we're loading up the 4000 with all the rare Acroporas out of my tank, whichever ones we don't have. Me and Josh, we got a little master list of everything that we're already put into the 4,000 gallon. So I'm going through a list of names that I had, and we went through maybe 15 pieces wearing it out, and then we're gonna go one piece at a time. It's very hard to remember where you got these pieces. We got our own system, we're still trying to master it, but right now, he's breaking as many corals as he can, and we're gonna go glue them into the 4,000, so.
Well, 6 months ago, Vic got these awesome, amazing acros, and it has been a process to say the least. We brought them in, and we did our visual pest check. We separated them, moved them out, but generally, nothing too crazy for these guys, and they've been crusting over well, growing well, and looking extremely happy. Well, of course, the biggest challenge is always keeping Vic happy, and of course, the customers happy. But that is the #1 goal. Of course, excited to throw all these awesome acros in there and see exactly what they're going to turn out to. We've been watching them over the last half a year now grow and color up, and then once they actually get into their forever home, they're going to do so much better, show all their full potential, and it's going to be a great time to watch it all unfold. So one coral I'm extremely excited for is this beautiful red millie here. It has just been doing extremely well since day one. I think it's going to be a really hardy coral for the 4,000 and for our customers.
So the main thing is I do clean the glass every day with just the magnet. So that's every day. And then once to twice a week, I have to come in here with the scrapers to get all the coralline and scrub the parts that you can't get with a magnet, scrubbing the back. And then, yeah, once a week. Since we have a little algae growing, I gotta come in here with the hose and suck it out. Yeah, but it's not too challenging. Once a week skimmer, once a week filter pads. Yeah, pretty basic. So usually I'll suck the dirt and algae on one side 1 week and then switch and do the other side the next week, but the glass has to get the whole thing cleaned once a week at least. Sometimes it can be annoying to keep up with like dead snails, dead hermit crabs that just kind of roll around on the bottom, and then when you're trying to siphon things up. They get stuck because this hose is a little too skinny, so then you're like trying to get it out of there, and that's really annoying. Honestly, we really are running everything the same, even from our 20-gallon tanks here to this 4,000. We stick to the same strategy. Weekly water changes. This has a calcium reactor. I clean the glass just like you guys. We do water changes just like you guys. I feed the tank. Not much more than you would think, actually. Just mysis and a little bit of like Reef Nutrition's foods. Yeah, we have a lot of fish in this tank. So in the future, we're going to be hooking up ozone and other things to help like with all the fish waste. But once the coral starts growing, they'll be consuming all of it. But yeah, it's really like not much different than your everyday reef tank.
All right, guys, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. Thank you for your patience. It's been over a year we've been working on this tank. We underestimate how hard it will be. In the meantime, if you guys like our content, give us a thumbs up, post some comments below. We'd love to answer your questions. Subscribe to our channel, help us a lot. We'll see you guys on the next episode. See you guys.